It's backwards though, isn't it?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
You don't look like you're sitting very well in your chair, though.
I want to figure out that.
We're going live.
Yeah, I know.
No, I don't think so. You don't look like you're sitting very well in your chair, though.
Bit of a lag. I think you were hearing the YouTube feed. Oh, crepes, yeah. And somebody shoved my face full of supper.
Supper. You got supper? Aren't you special?
So, Mayor Warwick, just I'm not sure. Councillor Bowden was having computer issues.
Okay.
So she's got a different computer. I'm not sure if she was able to get the camera to work.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think I am able to. So can I just say yes?
Can you try put up your hand? I just want to see if it shows up on your.
Okay, just give me a minute if I can find it.
Yeah, that works.
That shows? Okay.
Yeah. So just take it down. So if you have something you want to, actually, if we're voting on an issue, just put up your hand.
Okay.
And then just take it down again. I'll see it because it rearranges my screen when you do that. So that'll work fine.
Thank you.
That'll be fine. No, thank you. And I hope Mr. Mole's having trouble with his too. That works out really good. Damn it. He almost made me late. He's stopping me on the street to tell me that I'm going to be late if I don't hurry up. So I don't know what his deal is, but it's okay. It's all good. So when hockey starts, are you excited for hockey, Kim?
I don't know. Yes and no.
Okay, what happened? What did you change, Lori? Okay, Lori, you're messing with everybody's.
I know I have a mess. Just give me a moment.
I'm gonna have to.
I'm more excited about CFL than I am NHL right now. So,
and you probably should be.
I was trying to.
So I think
it's hiding the non-video participants, so it's
okay. Okay, there you go. No, it's fine. I changed mine. Oh, okay, fine. All right. Well,
so,
I have.
Mr. Mayor, before you start.
Yes.
I'm assuming that everybody's is wonky then?
You can change it yourself. Like you can
if you go on the top right hand corner and choose gallery, that gives you the
okay. Just in case anybody else wanted to change it and see everybody, that's how they do it.
Okay. This is how we do it. All right, let's call this meeting to order at 6:01. Rhonda, you're welcome. All right, with that, we'll entertain a motion to adopt the agenda.
Hold, Mr. Mayor, we do have one change.
Oh.
So we're going to remove item 9.7.
Remove item 9.7.
So upon review, we don't need to do that. So
it's fine. Okay. So are we making 9.8 9.7 or are we leaving it as 9.8?
We'll do whichever you prefer, Mr.
Okay,
Mayor.
let's edit or amend 9.8 to be 9.7 and remove 9.7. Is that clear for council? I think. Okay, so with that, I'm going to assume that Councillor Bowden had her hand up to adopt the agenda as amended. We will call it and we'll ask for the vote now. All in favor? And that is carried. All right, then we have nobody here for delegations, Kim, that you know of?
No, you don't, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you. And nobody here for public presentation apparently, because there's nobody else here but us. So that takes us to our minutes. I would entertain a motion that the minutes from the regular meeting of council held September 14th, 2021 be adopted as presented. Thank you, Councillor Jensen. Any questions, errors, or omissions to those minutes? All right, seeing none, I will call a question. All in favor? And that is carried. That takes us to 5.2. I'd entertain a motion that the minutes of the information meeting of council held September 29th, 2021 be adopted as presented. Thank you, Councillor Olson. Any questions, errors, or omissions? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All in favor? And that is carried. Well done, Councillor Bolden. That's working very well for me. Thank you. Okay, that takes us to our financial reports, accounts payable. I would entertain a motion the council accepts the accounts payable listing for general account checks 41879 to 41925 and direct deposit payments 000541 to 000601 for information. Thank you, Councillor Stickle. Any questions regarding the accounts payable? Yes, Councillor Bowden.
Hi, yes, I had a question regarding check number 41901 regarding the Site 1 landscaping. I was just wondering what all that entailed and just how much of the soccer field was used this year.
I will start. So Site 1 is the company we get our irrigation supplies from.
Okay.
So it was irrigation repairs. As far as I know, the soccer program was utilized through, minor soccer was utilized through May till end of June-ish per se.
Okay, thank you. I also had a question about the dragnet or dragger safety burn tower smoke simulation for $192,000.
Yep, good question, Councillor Bowden. I was going to bring that up just for everyone's attention. So that is a continuing phase of the burn tower project. So it has been, before we issued the check to Dragger, we had a check from the association in the amount. So the association was making payment for that as part of the burn tower project, and basically have ran it through the town so we're able to save the GST.
Okay. Thank you. And just one more, I'm sorry.
Yep.
The Harvest Sky region, I imagine, is the same sort of thing. It's grant funds for $69,000.
Yeah, Councillor Bowden, I was going to bring that one up too, because it's a little unusual. So Mr. Nakota approached me. As you know, they have a number of projects that are grant funded. And with the federal government, it's on a claim basis. So the response, the first couple claims I think that Cactus has made has went smooth and quickly. I don't know if it was the election and slow down, but Mr. Nakota approached me, wanted to know if we could provide a little bit of an advance. He had some invoices that he wanted to pay the contractors, the consultants, so that we, Cactus kept a good reputation with them, and so we've worked out an agreement, and he signed a letter, and it's hoping that by the end of October he'll have those funds and it'll be back to us to replace the amount we've advanced.
Okay, thank you very much. That was all I had regarding that.
Okay, Director Snell, you had a
I just wanted to add, thank you, Mayor Warwick. I just wanted to add for the Site 1 landscaping and the soccer in regards to the irrigation. We did replace a number of valves in the irrigation this year. We haven't done that since it was installed 30 years ago, I guess, 20 some to 30 years ago. So we actually had to do some repairs. We had some of those leaking. So unusual cost, but that's just the cost of operating and irrigating. So wanted to let you know that.
Thank you for that added information. Excellent. Okay, any further questions regarding the statement of revenue and expenses? Seeing none, I will call a question. All in favor? And that is carried. That takes us to 6.2, statement of revenue and expenses. I would entertain a motion that council accepts the statement of revenue and expense report for September 2021 for information. Thank you, Councillor Deadlock. Any questions regarding the statement of revenue and expenses 6.02? Okay, seeing none, I will call a question. All in favor? And that is carried. That takes us to 6.3, the budget overview for 2021. I would entertain a motion that council accepts the budget overview for September 2021 for information. Thanks to Councillor Campion. Any questions regarding the budget overview? Okay, seeing none, I will call a question. All in favor? And that is carried. That takes us to 6.4, capital budget update. I would entertain a motion that council accepts the third quarter capital budget update dated December 2021 for information. Thank you, Councillor Olson. Any questions regarding the capital budget update or comments? Yes, Councillor Olson.
I just wanted to check and see if there was more investigation for that west interior wall repair. I know it just says carried over, but wasn't sure if that was due to a bigger project or of the arena, or sorry, curling rink.
I'll let Gwen go ahead with that one.
Director Snell, yeah.
We've been operating a little bit shorthanded, as you know, Councillor Olson, and so some of the projects we started in on, and I'm still hopeful that we'll have some further direction for that. The west interior wall is basically around the men's washroom, where you can see the gaps in there if you've been in that area. It's structurally not a huge concern. It's aesthetic, and then we want to look at long term. So having a contractor that can provide that is the difficulty. So we're still looking into it. Hopefully we'll have an answer.
Okay, fair enough. Thank you. I wasn't sure if
Yeah.
it was checked in too much or good enough.
Great question. Thank you. Any further questions regarding the capital budget update? All right, seeing none, I'll call the question. All in favor? And that is carried. That takes us to our committee reports, 7.1. I would entertain a motion that we'll just go, for both of these. I entertain a motion that council accepts the following committee reports for information: Community Services Board meeting minutes of September 13th, 2021, and the Municipal Planning Commission meeting minutes for October 4th, 2021. Thank you, Councillor Deadlock. Any questions regarding or comments regarding either of those committee reports? All right, I'll call a question then. All in favor? And that is carried. That takes us to our senior administrative officials reports. Mr. Neal, we'll turn the floor over to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just some updates. So the demolition project is going well. We are looking at some options to removing the sign from the roof. So challenge is getting a picker truck that's large enough. It's not going to cost too much to do it. I know the sign is historic, but it is in very poor shape. So we are looking at, we had hoped our local contractor with a picker truck would have one large enough, but it's not large enough. So we're making some calls to see if we can find one and what that cost would be. So that's in progress as we speak. Poppy Project just got a message today from Sean Olmsted that the skid won't be delivered this week. So it'll be delivered, he's saying, next week. I think well, obviously from the picture, you can see it's done. It's just, I think, a matter of time for Mr. Olmsted to actually get it into town to be parked so it can be painted. So it's moving forward. Golf course, it isn't on my report, but I think council's aware we've gone through the process of subdivision or redistricting different portions along hole 1. Surveyor was out on Sunday and was back out today, so it should be the final survey should be done here very shortly, and that'll be able to be filed, and everything will be legit and legal and taken care of. And just for council's information, we have held 2 advanced polls. So both advanced polls have been held. We had one last Thursday from 3 till 7 and one today from noon till 3. So between the 2 polls, we had 132 votes compared to 93 votes in 2017. Again, 2017 was only one day. It was a longer day, but it was only one day. So whether that had anything to do, or there's just more interest in the advanced poll, or whatever reasons people have to come out and vote early, but 132 votes have been cast. Just for your information too, it is a longer process. So we're finding when people come in to vote, it's not a real quick turnaround, because of course there's the 3 ballots that they can take, the one for council, the one for the referendum, and then the one for the Senate. And I think we're finding, especially with the Senate, people who are taking it and opening it up and going, I don't know who these people are. So it's been a little bit slower process. Typically, I think whether it's a municipal election, whether it's a federal or provincial election, most people come in, knowing exactly what they're going to do, who they're going to vote for, and they're behind the voting booth for a short period of time. But we've had some of our people who've been in have been behind there for 5-10 minutes. So we're finding it's going a little bit slower. So it'll be interesting to see on Monday, how it goes, and hopefully things will go according to plan. But people typically have been spending more time in the voting booth than they normally do. So I think that's it, Mr. Mayor, unless there's any questions.
Any questions for our CAO, Mr. Neal? Councillor Olson.
I see abatements done on a bunch of those buildings. Any demolition dates?
Councillor Olson, I believe that could be as early as next week. I think they have their whole lined up to come in, and I think they have it here on site for a week, and then it has to go off site for a week and then back again. But I think, with a lot of those buildings, they won't even be a day, getting it down and getting it put. So I'm hoping next week that you'll start to see some of the fun activity happening. So.
Awesome. Thank you. Councillor Bowden.
Yes, thank you. Under the Harvest Sky section of your report, CAO, you indicated the educational center. Can you share a little bit more on what that is about, or not at this time?
I can share, I guess, what I know that's public, and you look to either Mayor Warwick or Councillor Deadlock if they have anything else or I missed anything. But basically, Cactus got some dollars to study whether or not their feasibility of adding a educational center, primarily for high school age, whether it's dormitories, bringing international students, could be expanded into post-secondary, anything that might be able to increase the educational opportunities in our community. The other thing that's transpired recently with it, and that I know that they're investigating as an option, is how it might be space that could be utilized by the Learning Center with their challenges with the provincial building. And thirdly, I think there actually is some synergies looking between whether there's the ability to have the agricultural or the educational component combined with the agricultural hub to try and create some synergies. So it's still pretty basic at this point in time, but that's I've been a part of an interview, and I know the consultants at that stage were looking at the business and feasibility component of whether it's realistic or not.
Okay, that sounds great.
And the site, go ahead,
Sorry?
Mayor.
Yeah, Councillor Bowden, I was unable to make the last meeting for Cactus Quarter or Harvest Sky. So if there's discussion there, I was unable to, I don't know who's phoning me at this hour, but it's fine. So I don't know. I'm sorry, I can't expand. I'm not sure if Councilor Deadlock could or not.
No, I think CO Neil provided quite a bit of information, so thank you very much.
The other thing under my report in that area that people might have some questions again is the agricultural center project in terms of a site location. So I'm not going to get into the specific sites because, you know, they're privately held and there's some confidentiality issues there. But needless to say, they are close to Hanna and I think are significant size to be adequate. So now that group is looking at costing of what it would cost to develop that site and into different phases, different options, and also looking at what what businesses could fit there and what components can be a part of it. And again, lumping that all in together into a business case feasibility study to see if it's realistic or not. So a lot of these things are starting to get close to conclusion, but still have a little ways to go.
Okay, awesome. Any further questions for CAO O'Neill? No. Okay, thanks for that, Kim. That takes us to 8.2, Director of Business and Communication, Director Armstrong.
Thank you, Your Worship. I really don't have anything to add. I just was looking, I try to watch the stats for the website, social media. I do not do it regularly, I'll be the first to admit, but every now and again, I kind of go down a rabbit hole and take a look at what's going on. And I usually find something of interest. And the thing that I discovered of interest this time around was that for some of the searches and pages, by no means not all, the use of mobile devices is now surpassing desktop, which I'm sure isn't a surprise to anyone. But it does tell me that I need to ramp up how we make sure all of our pages are mobile friendly, and they all still are not. But it's getting better. It's getting there. I don't think I have anything to add unless anybody has any questions for me.
Are there any questions for Director Armstrong? Nope. Okay, well, thank you very much for that. That takes us to 8.3, Director of Community Services, Director Snell.
Thank you, Mayor Warwick. I guess the highlights of my report, Council would have read that we were all ready to get going early this year with our arena opening, and we're given a little bit of a setback with the condenser. And it's not a new issue. It's one that we have been, encouraging along over the years. It is over 35 years old. It's not the best, most efficient system in terms of being able to operate your plant in the shoulder season. So what happens when it's really warm out in the fall, that plant runs really hard to make ice, and sometimes it just can't keep up. So in this case, our crew was kind of babysitting it along, going down to make sure that the breakers didn't go off, that our compressors didn't go off. I had to keep an eye on it. So we are up and running. We were able to repair the condenser, but it is in need of replacement. We were told quite clearly by our technician that it's done us very well. So as this council's leaving, this will be definitely on the budget item for the next go round, unfortunately, but it is the nature of running public facilities. And as I said, it's no surprise, and we'll just have to take it in stride. Kudos to our crew and our technician in being able to deal with that problem and get it up and running. And we were still open for our regular opening weekend, which from all reports went well. Minor hockey did make full use of the ice on the weekend, and we did have public skating. Did not have any issues or concerns reported to us. I have been in discussions with Hanna Minor Hockey in regards to the operation of their concession, and they've been concerned, and I've been very clear that we don't make the rules or the regulations. It is in fact province of Alberta and Alberta Health. So the option that we have taken is 1/3 occupancy. That means that takeout only is available at the concession. no food or drinks allowed in the facility. So people are happy we're not doing the REP program and checking for vaccination certificates, but they realize it's a trade-off. So I really haven't had any negative from people when we have the discussion. They're just expressing their concern and then they move forward. They're happy that the arena is open. I think that's the message to council, and they're happy that we've been able to work with people to keep the facilities open. An item on my report is the Brooks and County Immigration Services. And we've been working with the Immigration Services for a couple of years through Hanna FCSS. They did come down when we did the Taste of Culture. They were interested in providing immigration services as a satellite from Brooks. We did meet with them with the Learning Center. Ricardo Morales and Mohammed Ardis, I believe is correct pronunciation, came down and met with us on Friday, and they have secured funding for a half-time position in Drumheller and a half-time position in Hanna, and they will be recruiting for that position. And it is for services for permanent residents, immigrants who have come to Canada that are now permanent residents. And there has been services through the school, but that does leave out people that don't have children in the school, the grandparents and the people that are sort of on the fringe. They leave them on the edge. So we're excited about that. I think that's a good positive service coming to our community. And we've definitely got an increased immigration population in our community that is looking for services, and we don't always connect the way we should. So I think that's very much a positive. And the other little item that I just want to bring council's attention to is our Hanna Wellness Network. So that group has been going for a couple of years now. We've been doing some different projects. We just made a motion at our last meeting that we would expend funds from that grant money for pop-up tents. 2 10 by 20 pop-up tents. And what does that mean? That means when we run events like the Music in the Park, that we have tents that are available to use in the community for Hanna Wellness Network or to loan for things like Music in the Park. So that's a good news. They're putting their tagline on it. They've got a Hanna Wellness Network logo, but they like the tagline of Live the Lifestyle. So they will also be adding that on to their tent. They want to encourage people to get out and get active. So that's some good news for sure. And while the pool and the summer programs have shut down, and that's been a fairly big component of our department, just kudos to all our seasonal staff that we've had, both within Epic, the pool, the parks. Our park staff are just now finishing up, but I continue to receive very high accolades for the operation of the department and the looks of our community in terms of the parks and the flowers and what we've got to offer. So, and that is a reflection of the support from council. And I want to thank each and every one of you for your support for the department. It's been appreciated. And I think together we've done great things. And hopefully with the new council, that will continue and there'll be new opportunities. So thank you very much.
Awesome. Thank you, Director Snell. Any questions? Yes, Councillor Bowden, you have a question?
Yes, Director Snell. I was just wondering, pardon me, if you could tell me how much the triplex was used this year. Like how many times, how many groups and such, if you just know off the top of your head.
Well, I know that it was a full season for minor soccer, because when I spoke with the president, I asked how many weeks they were going to be reduced, because we were willing to reduce their fee, their annual fee, if it was going to be a reduction. And in fact, they used it for the full season. They didn't do as many tournaments, but they did use it for the full season. And the same with minor ball. They paid they were not looking for a cut on their fee. They, in fact, brought a tournament to town that we wouldn't normally have hosted. So I think the groups were really happy to be able to use it. When it's in full use for soccer and ball, we do increase the irrigation to try and keep our turf viable. It's hard to keep turf in our area. So thank goodness we do have the irrigation. They were utilized. We didn't have senior slow pitch go. Of course, adult sports are difficult to go on. And that one was one of those sports that people weren't really sure if they could or they couldn't. I'm not surprised it didn't run. I suspect next year they'll be back. When those leaks have stopped for the season, then we actually do reduce the irrigation right down, and just so we can maintain it, the trees and the turf for the winter. And in fact, we've got water bags on the trees right now, so.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, no, I was just curious to see how much it was being utilized by the community and that sort of thing. So thank you very much.
Okay,
Welcome.
thank you. Councillor Olson, you have a question for Director Snell?
I do. When you said you didn't get much for feedback on the arena concession, I certainly did myself from a few members. So I'm hoping there's a situation where you put some kind of tape around those couple tables. I assume they're bolted down. They're not that joyful to remove. Or just mark them. You can't sit and dine in. Call it a compromise. I'm not looking for your staff to go out there and slap burgers out of people's hands while they're watching their kids practice or anything, but I mean, you can exist in McDonald's, wait in line. You're allowed to eat your burger while you're standing there if somebody else is ordering or something. Like social distancing applied. I don't deem it that dangerous for people to sit and eat in the stands. There's a lot of times, as we all know, running kids around. So I just hope that it's still encouraged that they can sell it and use it as a revenue stream and use it for convenience to actually provide food for their kids and get them there, and instead able to have supper and still get their kids there. So I hope that's still offered, that they can order food and just eat it while they're watching. But and then you get the non-dine-in experience with those tables taped off or something.
I appreciate your comments, Councillor Olson. As a staff member, we cannot encourage to go against the regulations. I would not encourage my staff to be promoting that. So we have opted to go with the regulations. They're not our regulations, and I've been quick to say that. So I'm not going to chase somebody down with a cup of coffee, that's for sure. And we're not into conflict with our residents, but we also ask that people respect where we're at, because the bottom line is public health walks in and they're serving or eating food in the facility. They can shut us down. And I certainly don't want to get into that situation. So it's not easy for sure, having to adhere to them, and our staff would just as soon not, and I just as soon not. So if you can find a way to change that, that would be, we definitely told minor hockey was their choice whether or not to run the concession. And we did tell them if they chose not to, we would not be charging them the fee for the concession until they were up and operating.
Okay, thank you.
Not
for
really
that.
the answer you want, but yeah.
Any further questions for Director Snow? Okay, thank you for that report. That takes us to 8.4, Director of Protective Services, Director Moe. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. I really don't have anything else to add to my report. Once again, I'd just like to say, as I said in my report, to thank the current council, and it was a pleasure to work with you and for you for the past 4 years, and wish you all the best of luck, whether you're as an incumbent or you're leaving public life. So thank you very much, and good luck to all.
Awesome. Thank you, Director Moe, and on behalf of council, thank you again, all of town staff, obviously, and administration. You make our jobs, quite easy. I know we set the budget and we kind of direct you through that, and you folks do a very good job of that. So with that, I'm not going to get into too much detail because we may do that a little later. Is there any questions for Director Moe? Okay, thank you for that, Director Moe, and for those kind words as well. That takes us to 8.5, Director of Public Works, Director Olson.
Well, thanks, Mr. Mayor. And here we go for the last time. I have nothing further to add to my report. I'll take any questions.
I thought you were going to break the mold maybe a little bit, but no, just can't.
I did that one time.
Yeah, you did. Yes, you did. Yes, awesome. Is there any questions for Director Olson? Okay, well, thank you for that report. Looks like you guys have been quite busy, and of course, this time of year it is for everyone. So thank you so much for that. All right, with that, I would entertain a motion. The council accepts the Senior Administrative Officials Report 8.01 to 05 as presented for information. Thank you, Councillor Campion. All in favor? And that is carried. That takes us to, I changed my business items. We have 9.1. No, we don't. We have a, oh, yes, we do. There we go. Yes, 9.1 Hanna fire truck or Hanna fire. Holy, what's going on? Quarterly reports. That brings us to our fire chief Mole. Welcome and thank you. It must have been that little conversation we had on the street earlier tonight that threw me off. So I'm going to just turn the floor over to you, Fire Chief Mole. Welcome and good evening.
You must rattle easy, Mr. Mayor.
Yeah, right.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor and Council. As you can see from the stats in your package, the third quarter has been extremely busy compared to the third quarter last year. We've had 58 incidents in the third quarter. Last year, we had 28 incidents, so rather significant increase. Real mixture of calls, lots of grass fires and noticeable increase in MVAs and medical assist incidents. Lots of medical assist helping the ambulance or sometimes pre-arrival care before an ambulance gets there. Our membership update, we're currently at 28 members, but we do have one new member that'll be joining us tomorrow night, so that'll put us up to 29 with a couple of applications to process. That's a good thing. 30 is our full number, so we're quite happy right now with our recruitment and retention, especially our retention. If you can keep them, makes it a lot easier than having to go out and find more, so it's always a good thing. Training update, we're completed all our regional training for 2021. We will be starting up again in January of 2022 with a couple of hazmat courses, followed by a couple of pump operating courses, one in March, one in April. So we're going to be focusing on those for the most part next year. Training tower update, as noted earlier in the meeting, we finished paying Drager for the last of the burn props that have been installed in the training tower. We'd had a deal with them to rent for 1 year to try out and then purchase after that. So that's been completed. We got some small modifications to the railing to be completed sometime over the winter. And then our next phase is the outdoor props, which we have to apply for more grants. So realistically, we'll be spending 2022 working on grants, maybe some fundraising with the hope of being able to purchase in early 2023. They're rather significant. We're looking at $600,000 in expenditures on those. So we need to raise a little bit more money for that. And other than that, thanks to all of council again for your support for the last 4 years. Good luck to the 3 of you seeking re-election and happy retirement to the rest of you. And any questions?
Councillor Bowden.
Yes, Mr. Mole. I just was wondering if you have any members that are close to retirement, and if so, is there a succession plan for those particular ones to transfer their knowledge onto the younger ones?
We typically try not to let them retire. We had 2 last year that retired, Adrian Mole and Murray Orr, the 2 that retired last year. Right now, I think I've only got 1 that's maybe talking a little bit about it, but I don't know if we'll let them off the hook quite that easy. Okay. We've got a good mixture right now of 30+ year guys. I think there's 3 of us over 30. There's about 3 of them over 25. And then in 5-year increments, we've got a pretty good mix. We brought 4 on earlier this year. We've got another one coming on tomorrow night. Young guys right now. I'm not really too worried. When I compare notes with other chiefs, not only in our region, but provincially, I just sit back and a little quiet. And I know Mr. Mayor can't believe that, but when it comes to the recruitment and retention, touch wood, so far we haven't had to go to any extremes doing anything that some of the other departments are doing. We thought the coal mine power plant, when we were losing coal, we thought maybe that was going to hurt quite a bit, and it has. We've lost, I think, 4 members out of that so far, but we've been able to get enough new members joining in to cover it. So right now, not a concern.
Okay, that's wonderful to hear, and thank you for everything that you and your crew are doing to keep our community safe and such. So thank you.
Welcome.
Any further questions for Fire Chief Mole? All right, well, thank you for that. And Fire Chief Mole, again, on behalf of this council and myself, thank you so much for the work you've done over the last 4 years and, you know, eternity, it seems like. You've been doing this for almost as long as I've been on council, so, or maybe longer. And we appreciate all the hard work you do as a team, not just yourself. Just please pass that on to your members when you meet again. We appreciate that. That's excellent. Thank you so much.
I will do that. Thank you.
With that, I would entertain a motion. The council accepts the Hanna Fire Department quarterly report for July to September 2021 for information, and thank Fire Chief Mole for his presentation. Thank you, Councillor Deadlock. All in favor? And that is carried. All right, that takes us to 9.2 Fire Rescue Truck Tender Award. Where are we? There we go. This is one big motion, correct, Rhonda? Yes. Okay. I would entertain a motion that council approves the proposal from Commercial Emergency Equipment Company for the supply of one Freightliner M2-106 chassis with a Pierce Encore 18.5-foot walk-in rescue at the tendered price of $600,339 Canadian funds plus GST. And amends the operating and capital budget as follows. 1, reduce the 2022 fire capital expense budget for the purchase of the rescue truck from $750,000 to $650,000. Number 2, reduce the 2021 fire revenue budget from $375,000 to $325,000 for the town of Hanna, contribution from MSI. And number 3, reduce the 2022 fire revenue budget from $375,000 to $325,000 for the special areas board's contribution. Thank you, Councillor Stickle. Mr. Neal, Fire Chief Mole, I'm not sure who or both.
I'll probably start and Dave can correct me or add anything that I miss, but I think council's aware in our budget discussions in 21, we did allocate $375,000 of our MSI allocation to the purchase of a new rescue truck. We weren't sure exactly when that would transpire because we had to have a partnership with Special Areas Board to make it go. The fire operating group, the chief and his officers and officer group have created the specs, have put it out through RMA's purchasing program, and had 2 proposals back from Commercial Emergency Equipment and from Rocky Mountain Phoenix. They have evaluated them, basically are confident in the specs and are confident in the ability for each of them to meet the specifications required. And basically, as a result of Commercial Emergency Equipment Company's price being significantly lower, have recommended that that's the proposal we accept and we move forward with them. As you'll see, we did meet with Special Areas recently, their administration, and at their September 28th meeting, they did approve to fund or contribute $325,000 towards the purchase of the rescue truck. And at that point, we got the check today. So we've already got their money. We would move forward if council gives us this direction with the tendered price. As the motion indicates, the budget allows for a little bit of contingency as we're not quite through the full build out, and we'll have to outfit it with some loose equipment, but the fire chief is confident that $650,000 is enough. So we've reduced the budget. If you remember, we were looking at $750 when we started budget discussions last fall. If council approves this, we will get the rescue truck ordered as soon as we can, which will require a 10% deposit. Then there will be no money owed until we're projecting summer of 22 with the chassis. And that will be in and around the $180,000 mark, which we will pay at that time. And then final payment will not be until the truck is received, which we're anticipating will be March of 2023. So it is a 16-month process. Even though we're purchasing it, making the decision to purchase it today, it'll be 16 months till we see it in our community. So I don't know if there's anything I missed, Fire Chief Mole, please feel free to add.
No, I think you got all the details.
Okay, so with us, is there any, you just kind of shocked me a little bit there, Fire Chief Mo, by not
I can go on for an hour about the specs and the truck.
I know you could,
Mayor.
yes, that's fine.
Your call. I'll take any
It
questions.
would be up here and we would have no idea what you're talking about, so that's fine. Councillor Bowden, you have a question?
Yes, is this replacing an existing vehicle?
Yes.
Or is it, okay, and so I'm just wondering what is going to happen with that existing vehicle? Is it going to be sold? Is it going to be just used? Just what's going to happen with it?
So the little history on that, it's replacing Rescue 3, which is a 2001 F550. With,
Okay.
When we did our master plan years ago, we had rescues listed for 15-year life expectancy. We had expanded that an additional 5 years ago, just based on the condition and other things that were going on at the time with our budget. And so the idea that would be to disperse of the unit. We would probably go out, try to privately sell it to another fire department. You know, a smaller department that's maybe just starting out in rescue, it'd be perfect for them. It's a light rescue. The one we're looking at purchasing is more of a heavy rescue, will carry a lot more equipment. So yeah, as for value, 16 months from now, I don't want to hazard a guess. It'll depend on the market, the dollar, a lot of factors. But yes, the idea was to sell it, not keep it in the fleet.
Okay, thank you. That's what I was looking for. Thank you very much.
Thanks for that question. Any further questions regarding the fire truck tender? All right, seeing none, then I'll call a question. All in favor? And that is carried. Thank you for that. That takes us to 9.3, the Gooder, Fred and Frida Gooder Bursary 2021 recipients. I'd entertain a motion that council accepts the information, the report, or for information, the report regarding the Fred and Frida Gooder Educational Bursary and congratulate the 2021 bursary recipients, Janae Hine, Kieran McGillian, and Haley Nelson. Thank you, Councillor Jensen. Anything to add to that? Probably not, I guess. Seeing none, then yes, Councillor Campion, you're muted.
You're right, it was. So just on the thing at the end there, they got Janae Hine shown as twice. Just for the record thing there where they show the names at the very bottom of it. I think it's just a typo. Where the different years.
Okay, on the very bottom of the actual.
Yeah, the very years are just.
The listing of all the, yeah.
Get it corrected.
Yeah, we'll correct that. It looks like it's got Janae instead of Haley Nelson.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for that. Yep. Any further questions, comments? Seeing none, I will call a question. All in favor? And that is carried. That takes us to 9.04, Hanna Community Development Project Final Report. I would entertain a motion that council accepts the Hanna Community Development Project Final Report dated September 24th, 2021 for information. Thank you, Councillor Olson. Mr. Neal, do you want to speak to this? I know we did speak quite extensively and had a presentation at our info session.
Yeah, I won't speak to it too much in detail, Mr. Mayor. We know we're at a transition point with the project. We'll be transitioning from this council to the new council. Certainly, it'll be one of the projects that will have to be brought up and presented to the new council, so they have an understanding of rationale behind it. Why we went this route and where we're at and what the public has said to date. I think also council is aware, this council and the new council will be made aware that there has been some grant applications out for funding. It is a significant project in its totality, which will require a significant contribution from an outside source. So we'll keep it moving forward. By council accepting it for information, it's now a public document. So certainly we'll put it on our website. It'll be available if anybody wants to see. And and we will be, bringing our new council up to speed on it. And at the end of the day, ultimately, it will be contingent on two things. One will be finding financing and funding for it that will be manageable by the town moving forward. And two, that it's still will remain a priority of the new council. So
Thank
that's
you.
all I have,
Yeah.
Mr.
No,
Mayor.
that's fine. Yeah. Any questions? I know we did have a fairly lengthy presentation at our last meeting. Any questions, comments? Okay, seeing none, I'll call the question. All in favor? And that is carried. That takes us to 9.05, tax recovery property. I would entertain a motion that council direct the chief administrative officer to respond to the request. Oh, no, wrong one, sorry. Oh, no, it is, sorry, I'm sorry. I would entertain a motion that council direct the chief administrative officer to respond to the request from, and I apologize if I mispronounce these, Sohail Kaje Sherifabadi and Shiroshin Zong, property owners of 201 7th Avenue East, to confirm that the town of Hanna is satisfied that all proper procedures were followed in regard to the yard cleanup and snow removal charges applied in the tax roll 16600, and therefore the town will not remove the property from the town of Hanna tax auction scheduled for November 4th, 2021, to waive the yard clean charges, including any interest. 3, pay compensation for damages and loss of their property. 4, pay compensation for cutting down the fruit tree. And 5, pay compensation for fixing the base of the shack. Thank you, Councillor Campion. Any discussion?
Well, Mr. Mayor, I'll just go through it quickly here so everyone's on the same page. So as you can see from the background, May 31st of 2017, the property owners were found in violation of the Town of Hanna bylaw 947/2009, which is the unsightly properties and snow removal bylaw. They were sent an order to complete the following: basically clean up the property. They did not do that, and I believe they were out of town. The order to remedy, we do send via registered mail, and it came back saying that the box number was no longer valid or no longer open. So we proceeded to have a contractor clean up the work. And in 2018, again, around the same time, you can see the pictures from year to year. They look very similar, but the yard was in an unacceptable condition. They were sent an order, followed the same process, no response, no nothing. So we had another contractor go in and do that work. And so the end of August, we applied $895 to their tax account. So that represented 2 yard cleanup invoices in the amount, one in the amount of $250, one in the amount of $525, and 2 snow removal charges of $60 each. So $895 was put on their tax roll. 2019, again, we did find they were in violation. We did post on their property that they were in violation. And I think it was shortly around that time that they returned back from out of the country to their property, and they did clean it up. Again, in probably August of 2019, the owners approached myself, basically, accusing the town of the following and requesting compensation from the town: $7,500 for the cutting of a fruit tree, which resulted in water damage to their shed, $1,500 for removal of dozens of decorative tree trunks, and $500 for the removal of a green rubberized carpet. At that time, you'll see how we responded, but we basically responded and said, we followed the rules and regulations. You can you're still responsible for those charges. We're not waiving them in any form, and we're not going to be compensating you for any of the damages you incur. And I do know, speaking with property owners, they did have a fruit tree on that property. And I know I do have a picture of the fruit tree being cut. We have no idea. It certainly wasn't one of our parts of our orders. We don't believe our contractors would have. So how it came down or when it came down, I cannot answer, but I can tell you that there was a fruit tree there at one time and it did get cut down and removed. Then everything went quiet for about a year. July of this year, the property owners dropped off a statement of claim. Again, similar things. Their biggest concern, I think, is that these charges have been applied to their tax roll, which they've been very diligent in paying their annual tax levy, but they haven't paid the $895. And of course, it collects interest, penalties, not interest, as it moves along. So now they are in arrears long enough so that it would be on the public auction on November 4th. So they've asked us to remove it. All that they would need to do is pay $589.06 prior to November 4th, and it would be removed by their own accord. As council is aware, the property owners did speak to council and present their case at the September 14th meeting. Mayor Warwick indicated we would not be making a decision until the October 12th meeting. And we believe, I guess administratively, we believed we followed the correct process. The yards were in need of cleanup. You can justify or you can debate, the costs that we applied to them, but those were the costs from the contractors to do the work. And the other, I guess, bone of contention with the property owners is they would rather us go under section 552 and basically try and get the debt recovered through a civil action. I have told the property owners that typically we will apply these charges to the tax roll, because it's easier, it's quicker, and it's most cost effective for the municipality. And section 553 allows us to do that. They don't follow one after the other. It's not, you have to go do 552, and if you're not successful there, you move to 553. 552 would work more in a situation where there's a property owner or a rental property or something like that, or another charge that whether it's be a bylaw fine or whatever, if you wanted to go through a civil action to recoup it, you could. So the other thing that I just want to bring to council's attention to, and don't have any good pictures of it necessarily, but they did do some damage to our trees on the boulevard. So as you're aware, if we want to play, a difficult game with them in this regard, that is illegal as per our town of Hanna tree bylaw to be cutting trees or branches or trimming without permission from the town, and significant limbs were cut off and through the process for them to use for their own personal use. So I don't know if there's any questions, Mr. Mayor. I know it's a convoluted situation, and I believe, even with this response, I believe that it's probably something the new council will be dealt with in the upcoming. I don't know if the property owners are going to be satisfied with our response, but the ball will be in their court, and they'll do what they think is best for them moving forward.
Okay, thank you for that. Councillor Olsen, you have a question?
I just wanted to make a comment. I disagree that it's convoluted. I walk by this property almost daily on my way to work. I find it quite unfair that residents are expected to, invest money and build a fence. And they have fences built of scrap material. Every time there's a wind, there's garbage blown on the neighbors' lawns. So we've done exactly what we need to enforce it and keep things clean and tidy. I think appropriate actions were taken.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Bowden?
Yes, I have questions about the registered mail. When it was returned, address was no longer in place. Was there any other attempt to get that notification to the individuals or not? It just seems that when it was attached, posted to their building, that they responded to it, or were they out of the country for 2017 and 18 as well during that time?
Councillor Bowden, I don't know for 100% fact, but I do know that they were out of the country for a significant period of time. And when I say significant, I'm thinking it was well over a year. And I think, like I said, I think they had just returned back into Hanna in 2019, right around the time that we posted it. But I know that they had hoped that we had communicated via email, but that's not necessarily a legal form to be communicating via. So we did what we're told to do. And I think it was more of a coincidence that they had returned back into the country and back into Hanna around that time. But I know they were out of the country for a significant period of time.
So if the notices for 2017 and 18 were posted to their building after it was returned, do you think it would have made any difference?
I can't say for sure, Councillor Bowden. I don't believe so, because I don't believe they were even here to see them until that time when they returned in 2019.
Okay, that was all it's just, if something gets returned from registered mail, whether there's another recourse to try to get that information to the individual was my question. So thank you very much.
Thank you for that question. Any further questions? Okay, seeing none, I will call a question. All in favor? And that is carried. All right, that takes us to 9.6, uncollectible accounts. I would entertain a motion that council authorize the chief administrative officer to declare 3 utility accounts in the amount of $270.74 as uncollectible and remove them funds from the utility receivable account, and declare 7 accounts receivable accounts in the amount of $4,199.78 as uncollectible and remove the funds from the trade receivable account. Thank you, Councillor Campion. Mr. Neal.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So this is something we try to do on an annual basis, try to bring accounts that we deem no longer uncollectible. Most of them are very small, and are pretty much insignificant. We do have a large one with the previous leaseholder of the town used space at the town office. I guess a discrepancy in understanding what 6 months notice means. Certainly we had a damage deposit from them, I believe was 2 months. We kept that damage deposit and it went towards it, but they didn't give us any notice. So when we apply the 6 month notice, technically they should have paid us an additional 4 months of rent. They disagree with that and have repeatedly, ignored any of our attempts to reach out. So at this point, we're figuring it's not going to be collectible without, a civil action. And at this point in time, some of the other ones are one of the challenges we sometimes have with bylaw fines. If people move out of town and move away, it's hard to get them to collect it. And a couple of them are bylaw fines. One of them was a property cleanup of a property, and the owners ultimately ended up going to jail and lost the house. And so there's just some various reasons for different ones, but out of the $4,100, the big one is the $3,000 one. So.
Okay, thank you. Any questions? Okay, seeing none, I will call a question. All in favor? And that is carried. That takes us to 9.7. I would entertain, actually, Kim, why don't you just go through, do you want to go through the report first and then we can just call a question?
Sure. I don't believe there's much to add, Mr. Mayor. We did talk about this at our council info session. The biggest challenge, as Councillor Olson brought to our attention, is the management and enforcement, I guess, of the concession. And typically by medical health officer orders, they've told us and more ways than one, that their expectation of concession is the same as a food place. And if we choose not to offer the restriction exemption program and go with the 1/3, then there is no food to be consumed inside the building. They can take out, that sort of thing. The concession is a different animal than a typical takeout. A typical takeout, you go get the food, you go home. In the arena, typically they eat it in the arena. The odd case, a hockey team or people leaving, heading out the door will deal with it. So that's the rules. We're hoping people will follow them. As Director Snell said, we're going to not be probably as diligent as Alberta Health would want us to be in terms of enforcing it. But we hope that people will respectfully try and follow it and be as accommodating as they can. We don't want our staff to be in that position. We don't want to move forward. But Director Snell is also correct that if we do have a visit from Alberta Health, or we do have a visit from one of their enforcement people, and we're found in violation, they certainly won't be very happy with us. And, we operate a number of facilities, so we are trying to stay in, the best books we can with them. At the end of the day, I don't think that they probably would, and this is just my gut, I don't think they probably would come out right off the hop and give us a big fine or shut us down. I think they would probably give us a warning. But once we've received that warning, then we would have to be much more diligent and follow it to the T. So we're hoping it works out. I had questioned, I know there's a couple of things. I know minor hockey relies on that as a source of revenue for their association. And I understand that. But at the end of the day, knowing that, you can't maybe sell as much as you normally would, is it, a business decision that you want to go down the road and try? But we're going to work with them, but we're kind of caught in between the people who want to eat inside and want to do what they normally do and what the province is telling us we should do. And we're trying to make the best of those two worlds. So I think that's really it. Other than that, Director Snell did tell me that the president of the curling club was trying to get a meeting together this week to see whether the club wanted to move forward or not at this point in time. So hopefully we'll hear about that, and we'll hear what their decision will be, whether they want to move forward. If they do want to have a season, I believe they're going to have to operate under the restrictions exemption program. And I do believe that will, again, cause some challenges and some issues. And they may not want to go down that road. And we all know curling's struggling as it is. And then if you basically say, we're gonna operate under that program, but we're gonna lose 30% or 40% of our curlers, is it worthwhile operating? Your costs are going to be the same, and you might be down to 5 men's teams and 5 mixed teams instead of 8 or 9, and so all of those good things. I do, and the mayor and I have had this conversation. I do believe there is a way, if they provided some, like they did last year, they provided some sports specific guidance. That curling is one that can be held following a very specific policy, that you can play that game and keep your social distance and do all those good things and meet the requirements. So hopefully something will come down the road that will open that up. I don't know how aggressive Curling Alberta has been, or any of our provincial organizations, in trying to get that message across. But I do think that, it'll be a tough decision for the club, but it'll be one they'll have to make. So and I think that's it, Mr. Mayor. Other than that, I don't think much has changed from a couple weeks ago.
Any questions on the COVID operating plan from anyone? So I just, for my clarity, I did have a customer in the store today was asking about like adult hockey. So if you're going to run adult hockey, you have to run it under the restriction exemption plan. Is that correct? Okay, so.
And Mr. Mayor,
So that's facility, and I think this person was actually talking about Delia, but with the 50 plus guys on Tuesday, and I just said I wasn't clear. So is it the whole facility has to be either rep or not, or is it by function?
Mr. Mayor, we believe that it's the entire facility has to choose one way or the other.
Gotcha.
As you know, we've been operating a little bit different than that with Centennial Place with the hybrid program, with the adults to allow them specifically, right, wrong, or otherwise, that's how we've chosen to operate that. In our facility, if our adult guys came to us and said, we'd like to have hockey, we'd say you need to run it under this fashion. And if they said, yes, we agree to it, and they, basically did the monitoring on our behalf, we would be more than welcome to let them go until we hear otherwise from Alberta Health that we can't have a hybrid, that it has to be a specific, everything has to be the same for that building. So we are probably pushing it a little as we are going right now, but as far as I'm concerned, we're not doing anything that's unsafe or, not going to put our residents in a difficult situation.
Okay, Director Stone.
Thank you, Mayor Warwick. CAO O'Neill, just wanted to add that I had in fact talked with the representative from Hanna Men's League and we discussed the possibilities. So he's taking that under consideration. He is talking with his team members to see what they'd like to do. So we did go down that path for sure. And just so council's aware, it's not a requirement for us to sanitize the dressing rooms in between use. That's not a regulation this year, but our staff did opt to do that. They said, we got the equipment last year, it was purchased, we may as well do that. So staff have kept the increased cleaning protocol and are trying to keep our facilities as safe as possible. So I just wanted to make council aware of that as well.
Awesome, thank you. It probably can be disinfected for other reasons other than COVID anyway. So, okay, anything further to add, Kim?
No, nothing to add unless there's any questions.
Okay, any questions? All right, I'll entertain a motion then. The council accepts the Town of Hanna COVID-19 operating plan update dated October 12th, 2021 for information. Thank you, Councillor Stickle. All in favor? And that is carried. All right, that takes care of all our business items. We do not have any bylaw amendments tonight, so we do have council round table and reports. So my screen actually by happenstance is has my ladies first in order. So I'm going to start with Councillor Bolden, followed by Councillor Jensen. Councillor Bolden.
Thank you. I don't think I have much of anything to add. Just it was an interesting term to work with everyone, and good luck to the others that are running as well. And thank the staff for all their hard work and cooperation and dealing with some difficult times and helping things run as smooth as possible. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any questions for Councillor Bolden? All right, seeing none, thank you for that, Councillor Bolden. Councillor Jensen, followed by Councillor Deadlock. Councillor Jensen.
Once again, I apologize. I didn't have a chance to get up a written report, but honestly, there's not a whole lot to report on. I'm just kind of tidying up loose ends for the end of the week. So I just wanted to extend a thank you to staff and administration, mayor and council. It has been a pleasure to sit with you all this past 4 years, and best of luck to everybody coming in.
Awesome, thank you. Any questions for Councillor Jensen? Okay, thank you very much, Councillor Jensen. That takes us to Councillor Deadlock, followed by Councillor Olson. Councillor Deadlock.
I don't think I have anything else to add to my report besides thanks to all of administration and staff at the town for making us look good. I know this council has went through a lot of ups and downs, and I think we did pretty good considering what we were handed. And thanks to everybody, and good luck to all of the people running. And I hope you enjoy your next 4 years.
Awesome. Thank you, Councillor Dedlock. Any questions for Councillor Dedlock? Okay, thank you for that. Councillor Olson, followed by Councillor Campion. Councillor Olson.
Thank you, Mayor. I guess I'll just say good luck, Mayor Warwick and the other 3 quitters. No, we'll move forward. Maybe this will be my last time issuing a report too, but thanks to administration, staff, everything through here, it's been quite a 4-year ride, and we'll see if we can try it again. I have nothing else to add.
Okay, thank you. Any questions for Councillor Olson? All right, thank you so much for that report. Councillor Campion, followed by Councillor Stickle. Councillor Campion.
Yeah, I have nothing further to add. Just I've been kind of enjoyed this term here. I'm hoping I can go on another one, but if it don't happen, it don't happen. So, you know, maybe I'll get out everybody's hair. So, anyway, thanks a lot. Thanks administration for the last 4 years. It's been a good job. Well done. Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor Campion. Any questions for Councillor Campion? All right, thank you for that. Councillor Stickle.
I have nothing to add.
Let's save the best for last. I thought you were going to get long-winded and all emotional and things, but I guess that was a
I put it all on paper, so.
Right, exactly.
Brass give me heck for writing out a written report. He said he just about fainted when he'd seen it.
Is there any questions for Councillor Stickle or comments if you prefer? All right, thank you for that. Well, you know, it's funny. Director Armstrong was in the store the other day, and she said, "Are you going to cry?" And I said, "I might. I'm actually. It's a bit of a sad time for me. I'm not going to lie. I'm going to certainly miss putting on a suit the first, second Tuesday of every month, and coming and working with awesome people that really are here to make a difference, and really with the collective goal. And I think that's really shows in the success of this community. I think it bodes well that everyone really, even though we disagree on some things, I think the common goal is always for the betterment of the town of Hanna. I do want to thank this council. We've done a lot of great work, and we've done some great things. I want to thank previous councillors and the mayors that I've had the pleasure of working with. I've learned from everybody that I've had the pleasure of working with, and it's been awesome. Of course, I would be remiss if I didn't thank the staff, of course, and administration. You folks do a lot of really good hard work for us, and it makes us look good. And you get us the information. I know putting together the packages can't be easy, and you do a great job. Tonight's a great example. We have a package of over 300 pages, and it's a lot of reading, but we're well informed, and we can make good decisions that way. It makes a huge difference. I want to also wish, of course, we have 2 staff members that are retiring this year. I want to wish you the very best. I know it turns another leaf, another page in your journey, and I wish you the best, and thank you for the years of service. I know Director Snell got here, I think it was the year I was first elected in 2004, so that's been a little while, but thank you for your years of service. You folks have done an awful great job, and I really appreciate it. And with that, that concludes my my report. Mr. Neal. I was just going to ask if anybody had any questions for me. Okay, they never do, which is good, because they don't think I know anything, so that's fine. Mr. Neal.
I don't want to let you off the hook, Mr. Mayor or Council, so bear with me. I normally, we would have this, we'd have a bit of a presentation and a thank you to council, but Rhonda's done some work for me here, and she'd probably be mad at me. She went through all this work and I didn't read this out to you to let you know what you accomplished over your 4-year term. Sometimes you think you didn't do anything. What did we do? But since the council was sworn to office on October 24th, 2017, they were involved in passing 1,171 resolutions, 91 council meetings, everything from accepting meeting minutes to approving operating capital budgets for, in excess of $6 million. This just covers regular special information or special and information council meetings, does not include the various boards and committees that they represent for the town. Council began and ended their term on council with an idea to revitalize the town, make it work better and look better. This council survived COVID. At least I think we survived COVID, survived various impacts of the federal and provincial climate change strategies, adopted multi-million-dollar budgets that provided core services for the citizens of Hanna, including contributions to the medical society and physician recruitment that are not normal costs picked up by many municipalities. They purchased the former Alberta Transportation Building as a public works facility, took a donation of the former L Accounting Building for potential downtown space, whether to resell, lease, and it's worked out very well for us with the business hub in there the last 2 years with another year left on its lease. Purchased land for utility right away, entered into a couple agreements to dealing with the coal transition. So one with Urban Systems, one with the Learning Center. I know there were lots of discussions and, about CAT teams and what they're doing, where they're going. I think you can see, from the work that's continuing with Harvest Sky, I got to get used to that with Harvest Sky, that those CAT teams, not all of them, but a lot of them did bear some fruit and are moving forward today. Passed bylaws from 988 to 1015, sorry, not 2015. So land use amendments, Municipal Planning Commission, Community Services Board, Council Code of Conduct, Public Tree, Cannabis Land Use, Council Procedures Designated Officer, Municipal Emergency Management Bylaw, Regional Emergency Management Bylaw, Municipal Public Utilities, Municipal Tax Rates, Palliser Intermunicipal Subdivision and Development Appeal Board, CAO Bylaw, Municipal Development Plan, and Municipal Cemetery Bylaw. So those bylaws were passed under your guidance, adopted many policies, including Adopt a Tree, Public Participation Policy, Rates and Fees, Snow Removal Policies, Development Incentive Policies, Storefront Policies, Handy Van Policies, sponsored or donated to organizations such as High School Rodeo, Junior Golf, donated the old CN building that was used a long time ago as the VIC to the Roundhouse Society, provided community services board grants on an annual basis, provided assistance to Front Row Center, Elks National Tournament, of course, the Hanna Golf Course loan forgiveness, minor hockey, figure skating. We provide a subsidy to the curling club on an annual basis, senior circle subsidy on an annual basis. Council assisted recently with the Hanna Dance Studio upgrades, the Hanna Spray Park, landscaping, and most recently the Poppy Project. So those are some of the groups you've assisted and helped directly. Signed lease agreements with the Hanna Rod and Gun Club, with Stage Hanna for space in the VIC, with Hanna Dance for space in the VIC, Farmers Market at the Curlin Rink, Learning Center for the Business Hub, Checkles Greenhouse for land, and a business hub to operate the VIC last year. So accepted the management and control of properties due to the dissolution of local associations. So the Hector King Hunter Park and the Hanna Young Lions Club. Provided support for the Rural Alberta Business Center, provided service support and connections for service development for their project recently for Core Ag out on the highway or out on South Municipal Road, GFL Environmental, and the residential development on the former lodge property. Council assisted with servicing and infrastructure for those projects. Participated in various studies with the Red Deer River Municipal Users Group, Healthy Communities Initiative, and the Helmer Dam Fish Habitat. Partnered with, and these are above and beyond our normal partnerships with the many local governments we participate with, but the Regional Emergency Management Services Planning, Intermunicipal Collaboration Framework with Special Areas, the Palliser Regional Municipal Services, their enhancement project. And of course, this one was one that didn't necessarily at the end of the day carry a lot of weight with us, but was with Special Areas, with Green Gate Power and with ATCO Power on the large solar project. I know it took a considerable amount of time of the mayors trying to move that forward. As council is aware, partnered with the Hanna Spray Park Committee and the Special Areas Board to construct the spray park and the accessory building. Made increases to the Alta Gas and ATCO Power franchise fees. Underwent a municipal accountability review program from the provincial government. Administration participated in the provincial government asset management capacity building program. Established the Uniform Quality Management Plan to Safety Codes Council to administer the Alberta Fire Code. Purchased land to create a road east of Tim Hortons to alleviate traffic concerns on West Industrial Road. Adopted the Health and Safety Management Manual. Adopted the Town of Hanna 2020 Drinking Water Safety Plan. Renamed a park after a community leader by the name of Doug Todd. Completed significant infrastructure projects. So the airport runway rehabilitation project, almost $700,000. We call it the 2020 infrastructure project, was 1.6 million. Included work on Pioneer Trail, Stevens Crescent, Shaker Crescent, Winkler Drive, the road for Tim Hortons, by Tim Hortons between West Industrial and Roundhouse Road. First Street West between Railway Avenue and First Avenue West. And of course, we upgraded Home Hardware Block. So now I know why the mayor's maybe chosen not to run, but.
Yeah, that's right. Sales are down because everybody just drives right by 100 miles an hour.
So we did that block. Again, that was due to some money, additional money from the province through their municipal stimulus program. And those are all in addition to upgrading equipment and facilities, generator for the fire hall. We purchased a 2007 Kenworth tandem truck, purchased a 2012 excavator and trailer, replaced all of the light with LED fixtures in the arena, curling rink, swimming pool, and Centennial Place. Purchased a new columbarium. See, we were thinking ahead. We purchased a Freightliner rescue truck for the fire department, various mowers, some trucks and other equipment for public works and parks. Continue to navigate the Alberta government climate change, as I said, through all of the different studies that Cactus has taken on that you've been involved with. Sold our bulk water station to Henry Kruger. Encouraged development in Hanna through support for commercial and industrial development. We talked about some of the specific projects that we actually funded. We've reduced the prices in Fielding Place. We've marketed the town properties through our local real estate company, and we have incentive programs for demolition of unsightly properties and incentive programs for storefront improvement and a tax incentive program as well. Provided funding to undertake the demolition of 5 buildings in the town of Hanna, which we're going through right now. We're more actively involved in the tax recovery process than we want to be. We did sell 3 properties in the last year as a result of taking title to them through that process. And we have a few others that are listed for sale that are tax recovery properties, and maybe with some of these demolitions that will help move those properties. Promoted Hanna through many avenues, as council is aware, the brand identity project and the rebrand to Live the Lifestyle, which is now partnered a little bit with Harvest Sky to incorporate their brand. Completed a strategic plan with Doug Griffiths of 13 Ways. And again, spent a lot of time on the Hanna Community Development Plan, which unfortunately didn't quite come to fruition, but is pretty much ready to go based on funding and direction of council. Again, finally represented the town of Hanna on 24 committees, including Henry Kruger, Water Commission, Big Country Waste, Palliser Economic Partnership, Katie Foundation, Marigold Library Board, Palliser Regional Municipal Services, among others. So I guess to wrap up, Mr. Mayor, you won't have to listen to this anymore, but I just want to, on behalf of administration, express our thank you to the 7 members of council. 4 years may seem like it was a lifetime. It may seem that it went very fast, and it was probably somewhere in between there, but I think we got a lot accomplished. We worked well as a team, and to be effective, you have to work as a team, whether you have the same opinions or not. That's not always going to happen. And we know that with this council, we didn't have the same viewpoint on some issues. But when a decision was made by the majority of council, for the most part, we moved forward, and that was the decision, and we kept on moving forward. But I do want to thank you all for your time, for your effort. It is, a bit of a, unselfish job that you take on. You never please everybody, and that's the tough part about it. You're all there with the right intentions, and you want to make a commitment to your community and provide service to your community. And for the most part, things go fairly well, but it is those things that don't go well, and when people aren't happy and maybe don't know the whole story on how a decision was made, why a decision was made, and they start, letting people know their thoughts, it can be demoralizing, and I know it's tough for staff, it's tough for council, but we move forward, and we just like to thank you for your service. Normally we would be face to face, and we would have a small token of appreciation that we would give to all of council. We're looking forward to a day when we can do that face to face and present that and have some time in an informal session to just express our thanks and wish you good luck. To those counselors who are running again, good luck to the 3 of you. And to those who have chosen to step away from public life, thank you for your service, and enjoy your time. And we wish you all the best, all 7 of you. So I just wanted to say that, Mr. Mayor. Sorry for the long-winded, but it's my last chance.
Awesome. We appreciate that. Councillor Stickle?
I would just like to say, Kim, keep that list that you had and read it to the new council when they start of what they can look forward to. It's a long list, and we got to thank everybody that was on council, as well as all of the town staff. Great job.
Well, 1,171 resolutions. I would have never guessed that. That's immense.
That's unbelievable.
Amazing. Yeah, no, it is something. One thing, I'm not sure if I heard it, but the one thing I never thought, and I'll just kind of end with this, that I never ever thought in my wildest dreams that would ever happen is a subdivision at the airport. I thought when that came up, I thought, wow, that just dots every I and crosses every T, because that's the most ridiculous thing I ever thought would ever happen. But
I thought you might say, Mr. Mayor, that you never thought on your term. I never thought on my term as a municipal government employee that I'd be dealing with cannabis bylaws and legalization of cannabis.
No.
That was the new one for me.
Yeah, no.
It's gone very, very well and very smooth.
Yeah, no, it's been very good. And like I know, I'll share that sentiment that you raised. That it's really unfortunate that we couldn't do this in person. So much I've been involved in them before, and it's a much better experience. But well, we can we can maybe do it at a time when things kind of relax a little bit and they loosen some restrictions, and we'll get together. I think that'd be great. Councillor Bowden, you unmuted your mic. Did you have something you wanted to say?
Not really. I just was going to say goodbye to everybody and wish them all the best. So, yeah, no, it's been quite an interesting 4-year term. So, yeah, I wish everybody the best.
Well, I guess before I call, ask for a motion for the question, just so you know, anybody looking for a 34 short bunch of suits, I may have a few for sale. No, my wife
I'll
would
stop
kill
by.
me.
We can try them on.
Yeah, right. Yeah, those shorts will look really good on you. Yeah. All right. With that, I'd entertain a motion that council accepts the council roundtable or round reports for information. Thank you, Councillor Campion. Councillor Bowden, you had a question?
No, I was just putting my hand up for
Oh,
offering.
I'm sorry. Yeah, right. All right. Okay, sorry. Oh, you can put it up now. We have the motion. All in favor? And that is carried. So I'll just list the correspondence items, and then at the end, if anybody has any questions, we can ask. You can just address them at the very end. So 12.01 Municipal Affairs 2020 Municipal Indicator Results. 12.2 Harvest Sky Region Newsletter for October. 12.3 Prairie Land Public School Division Board Highlights for September 2021. 12.4 Marigold Library Systems Board Report August of 2021. 12.5 Marigold Library Systems the 2022 Budget Estimates. 12.6 Marigold Library Systems New Headquarter Update for August 2021. 12.7 Canadian Badlands Letter to Shareholder of Dissolution. 12.8 the Town of Crossfield Letter to Prime Minister Trudeau regarding the Firearms Act of Bill C-21. 12.9 the Town of Sundre Letter to Minister of Municipal Affairs regarding Council Code of Conduct. 12.10 the Town of Sundre, a letter to Premier Kenney regarding RCMP retroactive pay potentially. And 12.11 Kathy Lee with her thank you card. Did anybody want to highlight anything out of there, Kim?
Just Mr. Mayor, the Canadian Badlands letter to the shareholders kind of knew that things were in the works, but kind of caught me off guard anyways. I think it may even caught some of our representatives off guard, and they were scrambling to find quorum to have a meeting to vote on their dissolution. So I'm not sure how it all transpired at the end. It sounded like it wasn't a smooth process, but they have made the decision to dissolve as a group and as an entity. And we did pay our 2021 membership, so we should get it back. I'm not sure what the future is going to be. I know that Harvest Sky and Mark Nakota has been dealing with some travel initiative or tourism initiatives. And I believe even the mayor had a brief conversation with the Mayor Drumheller about maybe there's a smaller group that we can get together, that maybe we can work together on some tourism initiatives that maybe benefit, because it was a big region and it was all kinds of levels of municipalities in terms of large to very small, who all had different things to bring to the table. So hopefully something can transpire that can work on some tourism initiatives together. But I apologize. It kind of came out of the blue for me in terms of all I knew. I think Councillor Jensen forwarded me the dissolution motion and or the meeting minutes. And so that's the way it's transpired. So we'll see what happens from there.
Councillor Bowden, did you have a question? Yeah.
No, it was just regarding Canadian Badlands as well. I believe Travel Alberta is maybe going to carry on with some of the tourism responsibilities or roles or whatever. And yeah, I didn't get any emails of any of the meetings, and received a phone call in the middle of something asking for forum. So I don't know what the scoop was, but yeah, it's unfortunate because I think they did some really good work. So I guess time will tell.
Yeah, I can't remember when they first fired up, but it might have been the first 3 years that I was on council when Canadian Badlands was first being put together. And I was shocked that they would choose Hanna as one of the partners, because I thought, well, what do we have to do with Badlands? But I think I think that's part of the problem, is the fact that I think it grew to be bigger than it should have been, in my opinion. And that's a conversation I did have with the mayor of Drumheller back, I think it was back maybe last November, something like that. But yeah, it's kind of sad, but it sounds like they'll kind of carry on the brand of it, but just won't be a formal entity. So Councilor Bowden, did you still have a question? No, okay.
No, sorry.
No, that's fine. No problem. No, that's good. Okay. Any other, anything else that anybody wants to draw attention to regarding correspondence items? All right. Seeing some, I'd entertain a motion that council accepts correspondence items 12.1 to 12.11 for information. Thank you, Councilor Stickle. All in favor? That is carried. And I guess we could go to closed session so we can cry. But we won't do that. Again, it has been my honor to represent all of council as the mayor and the spokesperson of the town of Hanna. It has been my honor just to represent the town of Hanna in general, all residents. I've really appreciated working with all you folks, and know that the administration will definitely carry on and do a great job, and I know as the folks, the newly elected council, I think will do a fantastic job as it really is. It's just for the betterment of the community. I think that's the only reason people run for council. So again, I want to thank you so much, and wish all the candidates a very good luck, and make sure that those folks who are watching on YouTube vote on Monday the 18th, please. That is your responsibility as a citizen of Hanna and of Canada, quite frankly. So with that, I will declare all business taken care of in this term. I'm going to say this council or the meeting, and this meeting adjourned at 7:38. Thank you so much, folks.
Thank you.